Hello everybody and welcome to an exciting update video for Darkest Dungeon 2. That's right, we've got a brand new patch hot off the press, and this one has some features that I and a lot of players have been super excited to hope will come to the game, and they are here. So let's get on into it. If you're enjoying this kind of content and you want to stay up to date with all things Darkest Dungeon 2, subscribe to the channel already. Seriously, I post videos like this all the time whenever there's an update, so make sure that you're subscribed. Let's get on into this. This is the Last Light experimental release. Some notes as we get into this. This is on the experimental or coming in hot version of the game only, depending on if you're on Epic or Steam. It is not on retail yet. These patch notes are only available in the Darkest Dungeon Discord. They're not in the game. They won't be there until retail is a thing. That being said, if you're going to play on the experimental branch, fair warning, back up your save files, play on a profile that isn't your main one, whatever the case is. Playing on experimental is inherently risky. That's why it's experimental. So I always see people coming into the Discord and be like, oh my god, my game crashed. It's never done that before and I've lost all my save. Back up your save files. I genuinely, please, I'm begging you. Let's get on into it. All right, so we have deployed a new build to the experimental branch. The focus of this test is to test new features that have been added, including late game candle usage, hero path conversions to the skill replacement system, and improvement on hero goals, and as well, Infernal Flame accomplishments. Please note this is our first playable version, and so many of the assets and other things are temporary. Please expect them to be so. Localization is also broken on a lot of languages. Do keep that in mind. If you notice things, report them. Use the in-game reporting tool, F6 on your keyboard, or the escape button, and then on the menu. It helps out the developers loads. I know this personally. Please engage with the new systems and send us our feedback. That means if you want to give feedback, they want to hear your feedback. Coming to the Darkest Dungeon Discord, it is the best place to give your feedback. There is a whole channel for it. Please give them your feedback, even if you don't think they're going to read it. They do. It is important, and I can't iterate that enough. Let's get on into it. Oh, I will say, yeah, as always, thank you for being a participant in these tests. Hopefully you can see that Darkest Dungeon 2 is a labor of love for us, and we are truly enjoying continuing to improve and add to the game. From my heart to Red Hook's, thank you very much for continuously updating this game, even after it's been out. There is no obligation to do so. They did not need to keep giving us updates to improve the game, and I am very thankful that they are. Let's talk about hero path conversions. There's a lot of things here to just kind of go over, but really the gist of it, and I'll let you guys read it, this part here, is basically all the heroes that were not on the pre-Vestal or new hero path version, where the effects of the path were applied to the abilities themselves and not just a blanket thing that the path did to all abilities, have now been changed to that system. There have been no changes to those heroes, though, as far as like how they play or what the paths do, you know, similar to like the changes to the Highwayman and the Grave Robber that we've seen recently. Those things have not happened yet. This is just them preemptively getting them ready, putting them onto that new system, changing all the code in the background, whatever it is they needed to do, cleaning up the mess that was the spaghetti code, in order to make things better. There are some changes you will notice, and the biggest thing here is that plus X% damage and plus X% healing buffs will have some changes, and probably mostly buffs to them because of the way that they are actually on the ability now. Like the damage ranges and healing ranges and things are applied to the ability. You can see them when you change between paths. They actually change the ranges, and so therefore things that affect those are going to have a bit more strength or oomph to them than they did before. Really, that's all it is. We're going to kind of skip over any of those actual changes, though there is one that we will talk about. But let's get into the main bread and butter of this update, and that is the late game candle usage. This is, if you've been following me for any period of time since early access or since 1.0 came out, this has been the gripe. This has been the thing. Everybody complains about it. I don't know what to do with my inventory candles. My inventory candles are useless. I've already played the whole game. I've unlocked everything. Why do I care about these candles? Here is the care, so let's get on into it. In this build, we've added new features that allow players to utilize candles once the Altar of Hope has been fully upgraded. So this is a late game, end game, veteran player thing. You have to fully unlock the Altar base game, not DLC, fully unlock the Altar base game. You can spend candles both before starting the expedition and during the expedition. This is important because both of those things are different. Like the candles you get at the end of a run have a usage, and the candles you get during a run have a usage, and an immediate one at that. Very, very cool. So, first one, inventory grants. This is the one that a lot of people speculated would be a thing that they added, and they have added it. After maxing out the working fields, players now may spend profile candles there to get random pulls from the item categories. So that would be like trinkets, combat items, stagecoach items, and in items, I do believe. The cost increases after each roll, but it is indefinite as far as I know. You can roll for as many times as you have candles and are willing to spend them. Each pull grants the player items that they can use in the subsequent expedition. So they actually go into your inventory like they do the first time you unlock them, and you can use them, which is really cool because this happens before you get to the crossroads. You can kind of think about a team before you get there. Very, very cool. It does get fairly expensive. I can't remember off the top of my head how many candles it gets to. It does max out at a point where like it doesn't increase anymore, but it gets very expensive. Do keep in mind that a lot of players, myself included, have a huge reservoir of candles. You're probably going to run through those fairly quickly after like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 runs of like abusing this system, and we'll probably eventually get to the point where you are back to like a regular amount of candles, right? You think about it, usually 80 to 90 candles from a win, unless you're like really grinding candles out. And so, hey, like, you're probably not going to be able to spend that many. At the end, I would think you maybe can get like 2 or 3 trinkets or a combat item or something on a regular basis. Some people I know might not like this change. They might say, well, it makes runs too easy. And my counterpoint to that is, it is optional. You do not need to roll items. You can go in with 0 if you want that challenge, but for players that want to use this, I think it's good. And I am always about player agency. So if you want it, it's there. If not, don't use it. Fantastic, all right? Quirk rerolling. Hey, this is one that a lot of people requested as well. You can now reroll quirks at the altar. You get to, well, maxing out the altar. You reroll them at the crossroads. And you can actually reroll on non-memory heroes. You cannot reroll on memory heroes, which I think makes sense. Memory heroes are still their own unique things. But if you have blank heroes at the crossroads, you can reroll their positive and negative quirks. I do believe you can reroll both of them. Somebody maybe have to correct me on that, but I think it's both of them. And it gets more expensive each time you re-roll. I think that's per hero. Like, I think if you re-roll 4 times on the Crusader and then start re-rolling on the Plague Doctor, hers will start from the low amount. I don't know what those numbers are. They're not in here. I don't know off the top of my head. I assume they get fairly expensive, though. And again, I assume that they max out at a certain point, but you can keep re-rolling at that max number. So it might be a good idea to save some candles. Instead of spending them at the altar, you can then spend them here at the crossroads to fine-tune your run. And one of the most exciting things for me, and one that I didn't expect for them to add, new encounter choices. So after maxing out the Altar of Hope base game, players may now spend inventory candles if available on new choices at encounters. There are specific ones for Assistance, Resistance, Cultist, and Creature Den. I'm not going to spoil what any of these are. I have seen quite a few of them. They are pretty good, right? They come in a variety of different ones. They have ones that cost fewer candles, one that costs quite a lot of candles and are very powerful, some that are a bit weaker. This is a change that I am very happy to see, because it gives a huge amount of value for hoarding candles during your run, and that will make players have to make that decision of, do I keep some candles? Do I drop something? I know some people really hate the inventory management. I think it's a part of the game that I enjoy, and I just enjoy the fact that now candles have worth. And to me, that's good enough, right? They can figure out inventory, they can add 4 slots or something or whatever. That'll fix a lot of those issues. But for now, also, this is a huge buff to the Collector's Chandelier, because I think that that's going to become an item that a lot of players are going to want to hoard more candles. So I'm really happy with these changes overall. I think this fixes one of, if not the biggest issue in the game, which is that late game, like, roguelike experience where I am very good at the game. I have played all the way through. Where's my reward is I get to have some really powerful runs at the get-go. I still think there are some issues that need to be addressed. I still think the replayability does need to be addressed, but I think this will help go a long way, and you can really get some funky, crazy runs right off the get-go and get those really powerful, steamrolly, just like cruise through the mission runs that I quite enjoy a lot of times. And I can also then, you know, maybe plan some better, more fun Infernal runs based off of the fact that I have a very powerful start to my run. So I love this change, and I hope y'all enjoy it too. We'll see how it turns out. Next thing, hero goals. Another thing that I think really needed changing has had some changes, and I'm quite excited about these ones. So after you max out the Altar of Hope, new hero goals will begin to generate. which can reward a hero class trinket or signature in item. This is basically what I wanted, and that is that we have quests. Hero goals should be akin to quests. Do X thing, and this hero gets something cool. Now, candles will actually be given to you immediately. That's the next one. So most hero goals that reward candles now immediately give you the candles, which is good because now they go into your inventory instead of going on at the end of the run. And you can use hero goals as a way to get some candles that you can then use for powerful buffs during the run, which is cool. Great. I think that's a good synergy. But the big thing here is you now have a way that you can go to the inn, or the crossroads, sorry. You can see the hero goals there. I never even checked them because they're so useless. But now you can check them. You could before, but now you want to check them. And you might be able to guarantee a pretty easy way to get like a signature in item for a hero, or a trinket for a hero, which I think is really cool. It gives some uniqueness. It gives some, like, it feels like you're actually doing something. Like that hero wants something, like they're hunting for their trinket and it was stolen by a gaunt, so they have to kill 6 gaunts. You know, there's a little bit of, you know, world building you have to do there. I love that kind of thing where I get to interpret, like, why am I doing this for them? But now it's not just, here's some candles. And if they are candles, they don't have a purpose. The candles have a purpose, and if you don't get candles, you get something unique to that hero that is pretty powerful. And it also just gives you a way to better guarantee finding those items. Signature in items in particular, because of the randomness of them, are an item that you very rarely get to interact with, and they feel very just like, oh, I got one. Okay, cool. But now you can plan getting them, or at least work to get them, and I think that's really cool. So big changes, love that. Infernal, excuse my burp there. Infernal Flame Vitrine. Yeah, somebody went to the thesaurus on this one. So after you max out your Altar of Hope, base game again, you gain access to the Flame Accomplishments UI, which is in the Stagecoach UI. And basically, this lets you see which bosses you've defeated with which Infernal Flames. It lists like all the bosses, like all the chapters on the top, or on the left, I think it is, and then all the different Infernal Flames on the top. And it's basically a checkbox system. It's like if you've beaten this boss on this flame, that box gets checked. So it's basically just a way for you to see if you've done everything. I don't think there's any achievements that have been added that coincide with doing this. I would imagine that that's probably something that will come down the road. It feels like complete that 100% and get an achievement. Like that would feel like a very good achievement. This is not retroactive, so basically you're starting from 0 on this, meaning that if you've done all the Infernal Flames of all the bosses and Grand Slam them all or whatever, sorry, you're going to have to do them again because it just... And they give the context. This is just a feature that was added that they just didn't have they don't have a way of retroactively doing it, which is fine. Gives people something to do, so cool. I think that's fine. I don't really care. I think Infernal Flames are still one of the things that I'm about in the game, but some people love them, so power to you. This isn't a bad change. It's a cool thing. I love being able to see stats. I do wish there was a more robust stat page that I could see, like, how many gaunts I killed, and that information is displayed somewhere, or at least in the code of the game, but I don't really care to look for it. So, all right. Combat. Updated unchecked power token description to clarify how much burn it may apply. Cool, that's fine. Hieroman Sharp Shots double tap. Now temporarily no longer can target inanimate objects because it got you in like this weird loop. Fine, cool. As far as all of these heroes go, like I said, basically all that's happened here is that they've been converted to the new system and that the changes on their paths are now included on the actual abilities themselves. I'm not going to, like, you know, block removal on Carcass is now reflected directly on Wicked Hack. Taunt is now reflected directly on Barbaric Yop. Things like that. I'm not going to go into detail of all these. I'm going to skip over all of these. Now, the one that I will talk about is this one right here, because this is a change and a one that I know a lot of people requested. I don't know if I'm a huge fan of it. I kind of liked it not being a thing, but so many people did love it. And hey, you know what? I'm the minority in this one. I know that I'm the minority. And that's the Binding Shadows now moves you forward 1. It used to do this. They took it away when they made like some of the initial changes to the occultist paths. I quite liked the change. I didn't feel like he should be a Dancy character or whatever the case is. But some people really liked it. I get it. I think overall this is probably for the best. So I'm going to say total win here. I know a lot of people really wanted this change. And I think beyond that, everything else is, like I said, it's just a swap to the new system. You guys are more than welcome to pause and take a look at all of these and just kind of read them. And yeah, so some changes to monsters. We've got quite a few changes here to monsters. So they have increased Black Phillip's HP from 24 to 29. It makes him just like one hit harder to kill. I think that's fine because he's like a fairly easy, champion boss to kill. Cool. I say a lot of changes to monsters, only one. Items. Quite a few changes to items here. Let's read these. This is the big one. This is the most upvoted feedback post I've ever seen. And this is why feedback is important, because sometimes people agree with you and it blows up. And this is a direct example of feedback going directly into a system that is now implemented in the game. And that is that the implication mashes, that's the cannon fights, now have a very high chance to drop the iron branded wheels or the steel plating stagecoach items, which just, like, if you've seen the post, it was by Vexia, so congratulations, Vec, because they're a big member in the Darkest Dungeon community. It's cool to see something you thought of come and be in the game. Those items look like they're right off of that enemy, and so voila, now you have a reliable way of getting them, and you get some unique loot for fighting that, like, kind of champion enemy that a lot of people dislike. This gives it some value. I love it. Great change. Cool. Combat and in-item tooltips now display gold or blue coloring for target strings, depending if it targets heroes or enemies. This is just a nice quality of life change to kind of affect tooltips, which are confusing for a lot of people. The shrine map no longer appears once all shrines of reflection have been completed. I thought this was added a long time ago. Apparently it wasn't, but hopefully this is good now, because that's so annoying, and it just takes up an loot item that would be useful. So great change. Almanacs have been changed. I'm really excited for this change. Added the road gear tag, so they are now considered road gear. They add +2 speed and +10 stress resist for their respective region. I don't know if they still give you damage. I think they do. I don't know, but either way, getting additional speed and stress resistance in your respective region. Plus, this counts as road gear, so it actually works with the slime. The slime works with road gear. Just has a lot more usage now. So these actually feel like legitimate items. Still maybe not the best items. If they have the damage, then yes, very good. If not, they're good, but not amazing. But much better overall. Cool, good change. Shambler spawn added +33% cultist encounters. This is a huge change. I'm so excited to see this one. The Shambler spawn now not guarantees, but it makes it much more likely for you to run into cultist nodes, which is kind of the whole point of the thing. So now it scouts them, and you are more likely to find them. So when you play it, you actually are just unlikely for you to get a run where you're like, I didn't run into any besides the end ones. I didn't really get any value out of it. So love this change. Rat Skull has increased the stun resist debuff from tracking shot to 20% debuff, which is cool, and decreased the healing receive penalty from skills when facing creatures down to 66%. I like this. The 90% one felt very like it could just kill you. Like, yes, this is still like restrictive, but like also 90% healing. He was getting healed for like ones like all the time. It was just really like, this, he's gonna get healed for like maybe 3 or 4, but that's still like a huge change. I'm happy with that. Cool. Profane Scroll reduced turn end while in rank 3/4 stress damage from 2 to 1. Okay, just makes it a bit more usable. And chance from 100 to 33%. So it does less stress, and it doesn't have a guaranteed stress effect. So cool. So you can use it and not feel like you're being punished as much, or as likely. Strong Shackles. This is one that a lot of people hated. Reworked to apply on hit, immobilize, and gain on hit, immobilize. So this is actually pretty big, right? This is guaranteed, right? This is a 100% chance. Now, assuming they don't have over 100% chance resist to debuff, which they shouldn't, it will do it. It'll hit a debuff, right? This isn't a 33% chance, or it is. This applies immobilize every time it hits an enemy. That's pretty big, right? But the real thing is every time you get hit, you can get immobilized. You can use this as a way to lock in your tanks, whatever the case is, so that when they get hit, they are locked in, and against enemies, let's say the baby, for example, this is really powerful, right? This can use to just lock in your front rank person. If they're the first one that gets hit, they're stuck there. Like, that immobilize is applied. You don't have to, especially if you have slow tanks and stuff. I love this change. This just lets you do more fun things. Cool change. Staggering Striker, that's like the big fist item that you get in the Sluice. Added if target has immobilized plus 50% damage. Cool. Great. That works really well with Strong Shackles, by the way. Covert Cloak, again, an item from the Sluice. Added if target has immobilized plus 10% crit. So they're adding a lot of, like, if you've locked the target down, these items do more damage and crit and stuff, which is kind of cool. Sneaker Standard, Combat Start, all heroes. Stealth token 33% chance has changed to Combat Start, all allies behind Stealth token. Interesting change here. So basically, the idea is that you give this to the person up front, and it just guarantees stealth to everybody behind you for the first turn. That's cool. I don't know if... well, it is guaranteed, so it's stronger, right? And basically, the idea, it's cool. You can put it on somebody up front, and then give stealth to everybody behind you. It's a stronger thing. Cool. Unwavering Standard. Combat Start, all heroes... Block token 33% chance change to all allies behind. So again, this is a similar change where instead of it potentially giving everybody in your team block, it gives it to them, assuming you give it to the person up front. Feels thematic. They're banners. You want that on the person up front. Cool. Grim Mask. Hey, Grim Mask is a trinket that literally nobody has ever used. Let's see if it's good now. Reworked to gain on crit each ally. So every time you crit, each ally, if flame is greater than 40, -1 stress. That's huge. If your flame is greater than 40, which is very low, by the way, it's easy to stay above 40, you have a 1 in 3 chance when you crit to heal the stress on people on your team. This is basically Howling End, right? Or, not Howling End. I can't remember the Howl ability from Houndmaster. I cannot remember what the name of that ability is. Very cool. And each ally on turn end if flame is less than 40 +1 stress. Okay, so basically, you know, it's again the flame thing, but the flame is much more manageable, like at a level of 40. And if flame is less than 40% though, you get plus 40% damage. So you may stress everybody out, but you get 40% additional damage. That's huge. Love that. That's a really funky trinket. It gives you value at light. It gives you value at low light. Love that. Really cool. Heart-shaped padlock, again, another trinket that nobody's been using. Plus 10% resolute chance is now changed to random ally when healed, add 1 positive token. I love that. That's cool. Gives healing abilities like another benefit, right? And then you give them a positive token to like a dodge token, a block token, a crit token. Cool, right? Like maybe see this moved up to 50%, maybe? But 30% is good. I like that. This is now usable. I wouldn't say it's like an end game item, because of the low percentage, but it's still usable. Blood Spirit Calculations, a fun item that I think was too risky. They've removed the 1 damage on turn start and turn end, which is what made it really risky, and changed end conversion to now convert. Okay. Changed turn end conversion to now convert crit to dodge plus and strength to block plus. Okay. Okay, so the turn end conversion has changed. Okay, got it. And added turn end bleed 1. Okay, so it gives you a bleed of 1, which can probably be resisted, I would assume. But also, like, dots are much easier to deal with generally than just, like, damage, than just random take 2 damage every time you use an ability. So I like this. Snappy Swig, speed threshold for gaining crit token increased from 8 to 10. I like this change personally. I think that the 50% crit chance on this is one of the most powerful trinkets in the game. I think 8 speed has been very, very, very easy to get. I don't think 10 is much harder to get, but I think that 10 is at that threshold where it's like, I have to really do something to get a hero to 10 speed. There are heroes in the game that if you're lucky or just whatever the case is, you can just kind of get them to 8, like Grave Robber and Highwayman and Jester are examples of this. I think this is a good change. I think people are going to be mad about it. I think it's a good change, personally. Anatomical Map. Chance to apply negative token or positive token changed from 90% 10% to 95 5%. Okay, so it's just been buffed. That's cool. I like that. It's a very high chance to get a positive token out of this. Or apply a negative token, sorry. Good. Hastening History. Changed the turn-end random ally speed token to turn-end ally ahead speed token. Okay. So this is basically the opposite of the banner. This is if you put it on the person in the back, it now can apply speed token to random people above them. Okay. And insulating insignia, change turn end random ally block token to turn end random ally. Okay, again, same thing here. Now there's 2 that work in the back, so these are kind of positional based. You can help allies in front or allies behind. I'm fine with that change. Wax inoculant now targets the whole party, and the cost has been increased. Oh, okay. Apparently, this if it's red, if it's this little banner, that means that this is a this was something that was suggested by the community. So cool. I think that's a buff. Caked Palette now has 100% chance to copy a positive token along with a 5% chance to copy all negative tokens. Okay, this is fine. Yeah, a low chance for it to just kind of go crazy wrong, but generally very powerful. Got it. Pouch of Lie. Whoa, what? Pouch of Lie added -1 stress for each corpse cleared with this item. That's guaranteed? Pouch of Lie now the best stress healer in the game. What? If you have 3 corpses on the battlefield, that just heals 3 stress. That's powerful. That's super powerful and quite reliable too. Huh. Love that. Shred of Decency. Changed removing 1 worship to removing all worship. Oh, wow. That's really powerful. I like that. That's good. I like that. I never really used much of Shred of Decency, so that's good. It's a good change. Overall, I think those are some pretty good changes. Pretty happy with that. All right, gamepad changes. I'm probably not going to go over these. I would read through these. It looks like there's been some changes to the gamepad. I will say my thought process when I see stuff like this is that they are refining things for console release. So when I see stuff like this, it makes me go, okay, they're still working on like the controls, making sure everything works really well. If you have any feedback about your controller not working properly, your gamepad not operating and being confusing, please give it to the devs, because the console release of this game is like the most requested thing. And the faster they can get feedback, the better the feedback is, the more fluid this whole process goes when they do port it. That's all going to be reliant on people giving good feedback. So please give feedback on gamepad stuff. Gameplay. Added map tooltip descriptions for specific assistance encounter locations. I'll have to see what that means. Assistance encounter locations now have most choices that better thematically match the visuals of the encounter. Okay. So this is interesting, because there are quite a few different assists. There's like the ones, the guys, the pitchfork, like the farmers. There's like the family. I'm guessing that maybe it sounds to me like each of those will have more thematic loot. Huh? Or choices, at least. So that's interesting. That's a nice like little world building thing. We'll have to see how effective that is. Added armor and wheel threshold conditions for assist location choices for armor wheel repairs to improve appearance when needed. So this reads to me like a change that I think I've been talking about for a while that needs to be added, but it reads to me as a change that like if you have low armor or wheels, you are more likely to get a armor or wheels choice. Akin to the choice where if you're low on torch, you are likely or almost guaranteed to get the plus 45 like torch value option from an assistance encounter. This is a pretty good change, if that's what I think it is. Added tutorials descriptions for completing the Altar Hope. Okay, cool. Good stuff there. Fix some text in Wanderer Duelist Disengage Tooltip. Fix an issue of Black Phillip's corpse having the incorrect health. Known issues. It's not fully localized. Okay. Wow. Some big changes for sure. The candle, endgame candle stuff is huge. And I cannot iterate that enough. I think that's probably one of the most important things that they've added to this game. Truly. I think it adds like, and hopefully it continues to evolve. It doesn't just stay the way that it is, but it's there now. The systems are in place, and that's what matters. I think there's still some things that need changing. I personally think Infernal Flames still need like a good, solid, like, we need to do something about these. But I think overall, this is really cool. I'm happy to see these changes. So let me know in the comments. Hey, if you liked these or didn't like these, let me know. I'll be playing soon. I might be streaming today, but definitely tomorrow. I might be streaming later today. But hey, let me know what you think in the comments. Seriously, I want to know your thoughts. I'd love to talk to you guys about it. And thanks for watching the video. I will catch you all in the next one. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.